I'd like to call to order the Parks Board meeting of Monday, October the 25th, 2021. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. I would expect no less. Big entrance, huh? Andy and about Keith's not here. We have any citizens' comments you know of, sir?
I got it. Yeah, second.
Very nice. I'll accept a motion, approval of minutes. Mr. Pike first, Mr. Bennett second. No discussion. All in favor say aye. Done. Under the first order of business presentation, it'd be Mr. Gilly. Mr. Gilly.
Brown, you want to come up here? He just sat down. Officer Davis, you want to come up here?
Is Mr. Brown being arrested?
We're not going to arrest
Oh, my God.
Mr. Brown.
Oh my God, it's a trick. Don't go.
In July 1971 at Cheyenne, Wyoming.
That was the last time? That was the last time? We got with us tonight Officer Davis. We got Mayor Clary here. Alderman Brown's our Parks Board liaison. From time to time, we've done this where we've had help from the police department apprehending suspects when we have vandalism or other incidences in the park. Officer Davis was told by our Parks liaison, Corporal Daniel Stevens, to me to do an outstanding job on the last investigation, helping us apprehend a vandalism suspect, and we wanted to get him up here and recognize him. And the mayor has a proclamation to read, and I just want you to know, we really appreciate helping take care of the parks. It's a partnership we couldn't do it without. So appreciate you being here tonight, and we'll let the mayor take over from here. And Alderman Brown, if he wants to say anything.
There, if you would. So I was talking to officers a little while ago. We're real careful about vandalism and situations in the city, about publicizing those. We don't want to encourage somebody else to do it and see, well, you know, somebody got publicity because they went out and did something bad. So we're real careful about that. However, when we catch some folks, we like to publicize the heck out of it. We want people to show that there are consequences to their bad deeds. I'm able to do that because of Officer Davis, that we get to publicize that. So let me read this, please. Whereas Officer Joshua Davis conducted a thorough investigation leading to the identification and charging of a suspect in a vandalism case in the city's parks, and whereas Officer Davis was instrumental in working with his colleagues at the Hendersonville Police and Parks Departments in conducting his investigation, and whereas Officer Davis works every day to protect the citizens of Hendersonville and the Hendersonville Parks Department, and the city and the Hendersonville Parks Department want to thank Officer Davis for his hard work and his sacrifice on behalf of the residents of the city of Hendersonville. Now, therefore, I, Jamie Clary, Mayor of the city of Hendersonville, encourage the citizens to join me in showing their appreciation to Officer Davis for his hard work and for his diligence in our community. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. You get to do that.
I might as well say something about you, or about you guys in general. I've been doing this a while. I've been public safety chairman. I've been the board liaison here twice. And sometimes parks seem to be forgotten, but we do have people that do bad things there. So I really do appreciate you and everybody else you work with keeping an eye on what's going on in the parks. Busy, busy, busy place. And it's easy to slide in and do something, and there's always somebody out for some mischief. So just appreciate you being on top of it, man. Really do. Thanks. God bless you. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You want to say anything?
Thank you all for everything. I'm happy to work for the city, happy to live here. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got what you need?
We have a sleeve of golf balls and a can of mustard for you. So Sorry about that, Tennessee. Old business park projects, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, sir. Update on inline hockey project. It continues to progress. They've about got the cover half on, and we look like we're on target to, at this time, they're working very hard to be finished in time for us to host the tournament in December. We've added some more park security cameras. HPD will be glad to know of that at Sanders Ferry Park. We have the restrooms and the parking lot covered now with regular security cameras there. That's a good thing for everybody. I think we also added some Smile, You're on Camera signage to Sanders Ferry Park. Hopefully that'll deter people. And then we'll be setting up our winter project list for maintenance over the next few days. If anybody has any questions, I'll take them.
I will say this, Andy, Saturday I was over there. I took my grandson just by there. It's 6 years old, and when we got there, he went, "Oh my God." That is, if anybody has not been by there, that is incredible. It looks like a monument of some sort. All right, Pig Fest site plan approval.
Yes, sir. If you all will look at page 6, you all have previously approved this event, which is to be held on November 6th. The beer board approved the sale of alcohol here and this site plan, so we need to bring it back to you all. If you'll see in red on page 6, it shows where all the security locations will be within the park that day. We will have a specific security officer assigned to the gate at Mary's Place to ensure that nothing goes in there. We just need your all's blessing on the site plan.
Questions? I'll accept the motion to approve that site. I'll give you a minute. Ms. Golden?
Yeah, and you remind me the time, date and time of this event?
November 6th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Veterans Park.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, Mr. Bowler. Second, Mr. Perry. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? You got it.
Thank you.
New business, SPA Twitty Senior Men's Softball NIT, Mr. Graham, Mr. Radcliffe. I don't appear to be here unless they're on the screen somewhere. Okay, we will strike that for tonight. Nashville Bash Rugby Tournament, Mr. Silkwood. I see that he's here.
So I'm before you guys for, there's 3 separate items here that deals with me. All of it's dealing with bringing additional people to the area to use the rugby park. So the first one is Nash Bash Rugby Tournament. So Nash Bash is an annual tournament. It's been going on since I played back in college. It's moved all around Nashville to different areas. They are actually wanting to bring the high school level version of Nash Bash to our site around April. I can't remember the exact date. I think it was April 4th, 5th, and 6th, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. But you're looking at, they'll probably be bringing close to probably somewhere around 30 teams or so to play out there over two, potentially 3 days. They may try to play a little bit Friday, if possible, depending on some of the team's travel schedule. But you're looking at a pretty good sized tournament. I would say probably in excess of 600, 700 people out there during that 2 days, 2-day tournament. It is a tournament that no rain out, so it would need the authorization of, I guess, if any damage is done to the fields, we'd have to figure out, have to have the group pay for it. But it is a kind of a non-moving date as far as that's concerned for them. It's strictly high school and middle school. They're doing the college and men's potentially somewhere else at this juncture. So it's just the high school, middle school.
Just for the benefit of the paper, if we ever get in it and the two people watching, 18 to 25 teams, how many people? And first off, where are those teams from?
So the teams historically come down. There's usually a team from Chicago called the Chiefs. They'll bring 3 teams. There's 2 teams from Indiana that have historically come in the past. A team from Kentucky, 1 from St. Louis, 2 from Georgia, and then usually 1 from the Carolinas. They're just some of the teams that I know that are usually there because our team has played in the tournament in the past when they have it.
And total, when you add all those teams together, how many people? About?
I mean, just teams alone, each team is going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 kids. And so if you have 20, you're looking at 400 just there, and then you count parents on top. So, I mean, you're going to have it'll be a sizable, I mean, for being a 2-field site, you'll have a pretty sizable presence out there for sure during those 2 days.
I kind of did the math. This is a paid political announcement, really. Just to let people know what effect that these things have on our economy. Any questions of Mr. Silkwood here?
Brian, who's the actual, is Sumner County Rugby the sponsor, or is this Chris Gower? Does he have a group that's the actual event?
So Chris is the actual.
What's
Chris
his
is the
group's-
actual.
what's his
it's,
group's name?
The national men's team, pretty much. It's through there.
So Nashville Men's Rugby.
Yeah. It's kind of a joint venture with both of us.
I mean, if it's a joint venture, then really Sumner County Rugby is a. So, and then on the vendor, I can't, help me out on that.
There will so he has a guy that he's used in Clarksville. And that,
What does that say on there? Griller's Choice?
yeah, Griller's Choice.
Okay.
It's a guy out of Clarksville
I got you.
that he's used in the past to handle all that. And I told him we'd have to get the vendor application and stuff in.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? Mr. Golden?
Yeah, Andy, on the sort of field, like if it does rain, I mean, have we handled that in any particular way in the past? Or have we had to do that? I'm sure it's case by case. And
It has not really, it hadn't really come up with rugby where we've had to make some kind of play at all cost decision at this point. And correct me if I'm wrong. We've been lucky
so
on the
far.
weather.
Yeah.
Obviously, if safety is an issue, we will shut it down if safety's a problem. If we're worried about tearing up grass and it's not going to get anybody hurt, then from the very beginning when they started building these fields, we kind of had an agreement that if they do some kind of play at all costs, that they would come back and fix it. So I think I've stated that correctly from everything we've talked about.
Most of the time when it comes to, a wet playing field with the rugby, you're really talking about when the scrum happens. And so really, it's really coming back with a roller. It's usually not like massive. It's usually just re-rolling the field a little bit to get some of those spots out. It's usually, so that would be the most extent of it. I mean, if it's, as Andy said, if we get to where it's talking about concern of playing where it's just an absolute, of course, the event will be canceled. But I mean, if it's a little bit of rain, but it's wetter than what we probably would prefer to have somebody play on, that's kind of more that kind of preferential, kind of play if possible.
Rough as you guys are, you could probably play it on a parking lot anyway. So. Any more questions?
Do you want to do all 3 on one vote? You want me to just talk about all 3, or you want to do each one individually?
I'm sorry?
Okay, all right.
Motion to approve by Mr. Bennett, second by Mr. Golden. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Mr. Silkwood, you got it, brother. Now then, there's another Mr. Silkwood here, Pierce. Queens University versus Arkansas State.
Yeah, so on this one, we actually have one of the coaches that I coach with on select teams coaches the Queens University, and they actually won the collegiate national championship in 2019, and Arkansas State and Queens are both what we would call in the entire country top 25 programs. They are scholarships, program, unlike, like University of Tennessee is not a scholarship program. It's more of a club focus, but it has what would be called a very strong alumni base. So they do have some scholarships available through the actual alumni itself. But so in the Queens, they've asked they're wanting to come up and play a game. They're also wanting to host a camp before they play. So the coach of Queens is wanting to host a camp for our group as part of allowing us to have them play. Most likely, and I've talked very briefly with kind of the Middle Tennessee rugby community, and we're talking about possibly having some high school games out there ahead of this Queens Arkansas State game, and then have the kids stay and watch it. Right now, Arkansas State is ranked 6th in the country. Queens is ranked 24th. So you're talking about two. I mean, that doesn't mean a whole lot to you all saying here, but you've got two high-powered, rugby teams, collegiate-wise, coming in town to play. So we're hoping to also have some high school around it, so it won't turn out just to be them playing and that's all that's out there. But that part is still being worked on.
Just out of curiosity, where's Queens?
Queens and Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yep.
Wow. Well, you're carrying us a whole bunch here, aren't you? Any more discussion? Yes, Mr. Pike?
And I see where on the fee charges to be announced, we don't know whether we're going to charge
So
a fee.
so the only reason I put that to be announced was if we end up doing the high school, we're going to do it as a fundraiser for the Southern Rugby Club.
Okay.
So that's, and maybe I probably should have put that a little more explicit. If we end up making it into a bigger event than just the two of them coming out and play, then we'll do admissions as part of it, kind of like a fundraiser for our club to help with the bathrooms and lights and stuff like that.
It'll all funnel back into your.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Just for clarification, so we can get this in the minutes, on the application under event producer, it needs to probably be Sumner County Rugby. Just, I want to make sure we get that in the minutes.
Okay. Entertain a motion. Mr. Pike, second. Mr. Perry, any more questions? All in favor, say aye. All
This is a tournament, as you all know, I help coach a lot of select teams, and USA South is the select team or the select program that I help coach with, their Olympic development program. They have, they run all the way from middle school up to the men's program within their gamut of what they help coach. Their men's team's program reached out to me about hosting the Pacific Northwest select team to come down and play their game at our fields. This is in early January. Essentially, it's part of an organization that I'm already affiliated with, but they're wanting to have, we're not planning to do anything around it other than they've also offered to do a camp, but I'm going to see what kind of interest there is that early into the year for the boys to do something. I doubt we'll have a camp with that. It'll probably just end up being just that game out there that weekend. And the Pacific Northwest team, I've already given them contact of the Hampton Inn and Holiday Inn Express of where to stay. So they're already working on that part.
questions?
I just, again, for the minutes, want to make sure that when our secretary or admin assistant does these minutes, she puts down the event producer, Sumner County Rugby, and what's the name of the travel group?
USA South.
Got it. Thank you.
So, I mean, I think on all three of these, the thing you guys need to know is the word's getting out about our phenomenal facility that you all have, and, our organization has built, and it's gaining a lot of traction, not just locally, not just in the state, but a lot of other places around the South and even nationally. So we'll probably start seeing more and more of these, coming in, tournaments and bigger games coming in to wanting to use the facility.
Okay. If there are no more questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Pike first, Mr. Golden second. More discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's it. You're not doing any more. I mean, you,
Mr. Chairman, while he's up there though, I would like, if you don't mind, give an update on the restrooms,
sure.
where we're at on that. Because you can speak a little more fluently than I can right
Yep.
now.
So I've got the drawings back from the bathrooms this last week, along with the civil engineering drawings. We got some initial kind of look through on kind of stuff that needed to be changed, both with ADA compliant was one part, and then a couple other things dealing with the civil engineering part from the planning and public works and code department. So we've got those addressed, and then I'll be getting with Andy in the city to get the bid out to hopefully try to get a price on getting the bathrooms built. And then from that point, we'll be hopefully close to being able to move forward at some point with the bathrooms. But I realize why I'm not a developer in construction after going through this process, that's for sure. So,
Does anybody have any questions about that?
No, I just want to say, I think I'd probably speak for everybody up here. I want to commend you and your club for what you've done with this and pushing this and getting this, because we did part of it from start,
Yeah.
you know, when you brought your idea here, but you've done all this work to bring this here and those programs are being built. So I want to commend you and your club.
thank you, and thanks for the support. And we look forward to getting the bathroom. Once we get those bathrooms out there, I think we're gonna, it's gonna make a big difference out there, having the bathrooms concessions, so.
Just to re-emphasize, I know I sent an email to the board, but like the two people that are watching on TV or YouTube, at our state conference, the rugby complex won best new facility under $300,000 for the entire state, and a lot of that credit goes to Brian and the Sumner County Rugby Group. We can take about 5% of that credit probably. So it's a big award. You only have a very limited amount of categories and a lot of people nominated. So it's a big deal that people in the way it works is the applications and nominations all get sent off to the Indiana State Parks and Rec Association. We judge their state awards, they judge ours. So for people in Indiana to recognize that this was a big deal over several quality finalists, I think says a lot. So just wanted to make sure everybody, the two people out there, now you know.
And we're going to look over the fact that you hogged the mic, so that's. All right. Conquering CHD Tennessee Walk Run, Carrie. I noticed the way you snuck in late. I love that. No fanfare, no anything. State your name if you don't mind.
Yeah, my name's Carrie Deaton.
Okay, and state your case, ma'am.
Yeah, so thanks for having me tonight. I'm representing Conquering CHD Tennessee. We're a nonprofit in the state that supports families impacted by congenital heart disease, and I'm the president of our local chapter. We're looking to do our first walk in 2022. So I guess I'm here today kind of just to get your blessing on that. We chose Hendersonville for a lot of different reasons, but it's easy to get to. We have a lot of families in the area. And it's also a beautiful park and kind of a great place to do that. I live in Sumner County. I'm up in Gallatin, so close to home is also nice for me. So there's a lot of unknowns in this walk, and I've talked to Dallas a little bit about that. So we've not hosted a walk before, so I don't really know kind of the scale that we're going to get to. We are in constant contact with about 100 families on the regular, but with Vanderbilt's Cardiac Center being so good at the Children's Hospital, we are constantly in touch with a lot of new families too. So our goal is about 100 families to come out, and our fundraising goal right now is $15,000, and that would really help our chapter with kits that we provide to the hospitals, and then we also help with some funding at the national level for advocacy and research projects. So I'll pause there. I don't know how much information you got.
Very well put, very well put. Questions?
So just to reiterate, you've got it down, a fee will be charged, all that goes back into your fundraising
Yes.
piece.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And my second question, I guess, is for somebody down there.
Thank you.
Those dates, the 4 dates that are there, how does that work, especially in April, as we're starting off where they're wanting to start their walk? Are we good on the dates?
Yeah, we're good. We have it reserved already. We have the shelter reserved there. We have the lacrosse field reserved for that day, and then they'll do the Greenway Trail around the Memorial Park there. Okay.
Any other questions? In that case, do I hear a motion to approve? Mr. Bennett, second, Mr. Pike. More discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Congrats.
Awesome.
There'll
Thank
be a
you.
$4 fee for getting here late, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You did good. You did a great job. Your information special events list. Anybody have any questions about that? Civic group September financials and I knew you would. Go ahead.
I don't know if this is for Andy or for somebody else down there. I noticed where there was a profit loss for Tennessee United. Do we know what that was for at all? Did lose? And for HHC too?
What page
I mean, the Tennessee United's 27 and 28. HHC 25, isn't it? 35. I don't have a 35. Oh, okay. I don't have that in this here. Okay. I just wondered if y'all knew.
Well, during the months of their season, probably they're going to take certain times of loss due to paying referees and things when they're not taking in revenue.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Any more questions? Staff reports. Recreation Coordinator, Ms. Hamlin, doesn't appear to be there, but I bet there's a young man down there that can help us out. Mr. Evans?
I got you. Got her report. Preschool track meet happened on October 17th for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds at the Drakes Creek football field. They had 40 participants. Had all but 7 show up that signed up, so it was a good turnout. Weather was great. Parents seemed pleased. Good reviews on the survey. Ms. Hamlin wants to thank all the students from the middle schools and high schools that were there to help make it a success. We do have trick or treat on Thursday, Drakes Creek Park. It's going to be in the softball quad, so very similar to if anybody came last year. We'll be set up different booths around the walkway in between fields 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there actually will be, we're going to be letting in any of our special needs children 30 minutes early at 5:30. They will be entered the gates in between fields 2 and 3. And that will be, is that right? 2 and 5. 2 and 5, that's right. I'm going to change it here. And they will be able to come in before we let the general public come in. And then Breakfast with Santa is going to be on Saturday, December 11th, held again at Whitten Elementary. 3 different sessions at 8:30, 9:30, and 10:30. There will be 2 parents allowed to eat per child. Must be registered in order to attend. Cost is free. There will be more information coming soon. This is sponsored this year by Hendersonville Civitan Club and Hendersonville Parks Department. There will also be Visit with Santa with Special Friends, tentatively scheduled for December 9th at City Hall. Yeah, that's it from Ms. Hamlin.
Question? Thank you, Ms. Hamlin / Mr. Evans. Special Events Program Supervisor, staff report.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's up? We finished kickball on Friday night, and we finished quickball on Saturday. We're finishing fall baseball tomorrow night. It's supposed to finish tonight, but obviously that didn't happen. We got 2 age groups finishing tomorrow, and we will be done with the fall baseball program. We're ramping up for high school basketball and our adult league basketball. We have 24 high school teams this winter, 4 in the competitive bracket. 17 signed up as open teams where they brought their own team, and then we actually put 3 together through our office, and they will play in the rec division. So we have 20 teams in the rec division, 4 in the competitive. And then we have 8 adult teams. So 32 teams in our basketball, and at least from our program. Pickleball is going well. If you go over there, if you go any time by there, like on Tuesdays, Thursdays, you can just hear this like slapping it. So it's been going well. It's loud. Like if you hear the ball, bad choice of words, whatever. But yeah, they've had a really good turnout. So I hope that continues because that's what they're looking for as we look at options to provide space for them. And like I said, trick or treat is Thursday, rain or shine. Obviously, if it's monsooning, we'll probably have, we're meeting daily about it, so just don't worry out there. We're going to, we're watching the weather. And then the big there is that disc golf tournament that Les came and presented to us. That's on Saturday. They have 72 players. So it's a complete full league or full tournament. So yeah, that is it for me.
Okay, under the heading of advertisement, Mr. Gilly, how is the search going for a supervisor, sir?
We had very quality pool of applicants, I think at 10 or 11 from all over the country.
Great.
We've narrowed it down at this point to 4 who we believe to be highly qualified candidates, and we'll start interviews this week.
I promise if you get a girl, I won't mess up.
I don't
Like I
believe
did
that.
the
huh?
last time.
Mr. Chairman, I had a question for Wade about, how did quick ball end up? I know that was brand new for this year. How did it end up?
Yeah, so quick ball this summer went really well for a couple of reasons. And this is just my opinion. It went really well this summer when it was ran indoors because we can control it. I think parents at the 4-year-old, 5-year-old level need that consistency and don't need the variability of weather. This fall, I mean, we lost so many Saturdays due to weather and breaks. I would say that the fall program did not go well.
Okay.
And I would say that it didn't go well too. So this summer, myself or Ryan McDuffie we were very hands-on with the program, with us being there, one of the two of us being there every Saturday. But this is a parent-ran program. It's not. It's not really how this is set up. So it's just like any of you signing up to be a coach for a team. I think we're also just training the general public when they sign up for something like this that it's a program that's led by them, not just daycare.
Yeah.
So because it's not a league, I think that's hard for parents to wrap their heads around, that there's no practice and games and like teams. But that's not a detriment to the parents that signed up this fall. I think that it was just a combination of things, whether that be not one person being in charge of it, even though there was people that signed up as a head coach. I just think there's some things we could tweak moving forward. But I would say that it would need to be, I think moving forward, it should be an indoor. It should be done indoors and not outside. It had nothing to do with our field. That wasn't the problem. But the kids, they just want to play in the dirt too. So I would say moving forward, it should be done inside. So really good this summer, not as good this fall.
Thank you for the update.
Good to see Rhino involved in that, really. Ron is a good kid. Maintenance, Mr. Granat?
Good evening, everyone. A few things here. The disc golf upgrades are completed. I don't know, some of you may have been at the ribbon cutting, but all the signage and baskets are out now down there. It was really a nice upgrade. You can see it if you drive through. You'll notice the difference in the baskets. We also recently did a upgrade of signs at Saunders Ferry, road signs, information signs. We'll be going through some other parks and doing that also. Ryegrass will be going down this week. We've been, with all the uptick in some of the vandalisms, been looking at some areas that we could upgrade some security lights, and we've added a few security lights back in the parking lot behind Field 13. And we're currently working on upgrading the walking trail lights at Drakes Creek Park on the Greenway. I would say here in the next week and a half to 2 weeks, they will be done from the white line back to the trailhead restroom. And then we hope maybe this winter, looking at funds and budgeting, we may then continue on, headed back to soccer, upgrading those old lights to an LED light. It makes a big difference back there. Hopefully you should see some the paving going on in Saunders Ferry Park on that stretch of Conway Twitty Lane along the creek. It's looking like in the next week or two that's going to happen. We're going to get that little stretch there repaved where we had to cut the road up, so that should be repaired. Also, we'll have the sidewalk and the curb repaired there that we had to dig out through that project. So hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks you'll see all that cleaned up and back together, back normal. One thing I wanted to give kudos to the maintenance staff. They've started assisting HPD with traffic direction in Drakes Creek. Some of y'all might have noticed that our guys at the three-way, that was a big step outside of the comfort zone thing for some guys that work in maintenance. And a couple of them have just jumped all over it and are doing a great job. And I've heard great things back from the police department and how that's helping them. So I'd just like to give a shout out to the guys for stepping up and doing something a little outside of their normal. So that's been great. You also may have noticed, and if you haven't, I would tell you to drive by the Memorial Fountain here over the next week, or actually before this week is over. It's pink for breast cancer awareness, and it will be going to holiday colors later this week. But we're having a lot of fun with our new lights up there, and I think the public really likes it. I've noticed that it's gotten shared around a lot on Facebook and social media, so that's cool. So that's been fun to get to play around with those lights and see what all we can do with them. So I think that's everything I have. If anybody's got any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Gurnett. Assistant Director, Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rec soccer is ongoing. We're in the last week of the regular season, and then their tournament will start up on Monday. Adult Soccer League is a little behind with all the rain out, so they won't finish up until about mid-November. And then Tennis United, rugby, and flag football are all still going. They'll be going all the way up until almost almost up till Thanksgiving. Tackle football is now in the playoffs. We're looking to host the next 2 weeks, possibly 3 weekends. And then lacrosse is ongoing with their off-season training. And then lastly, basketball is getting ready to start up. We have 135 rec teams, so we're in the middle of trying to figure out all the schedules and working with the schools and the gyms and all that. So a lot going on here in the next couple of weeks with basketball. That's all I got.
Fair enough. Questions? Assistant Director, Mr. Bruce, I bet somebody has that down there.
I have his report, Mr. Chairman. Fast pitch softball ended last week. They had a good fall season with the girls there. Senior men's tournaments finished last Thursday. They'll take about a week off before they start spring training for next spring, and then they'll be back at it.
Grove out there pitching.
Inline hockey is in the middle of their last tournament at their facility before we move over to the new place. So that's kind of a big deal. And as Dallas said, youth basketball run by the Civitan is up 20 teams. So when you look at 20 teams, around 8 or 9 per team, you're talking about almost 200 kids more than last year. Really don't know where we're going to put them all, but we will figure that out. Games will start the first Saturday in December. And then going back to some of the other special events coming up, the state cross-country meet, TSSAA, November 4th and 5th will be at Sanders Ferry Park. I encourage anybody that's never seen one of those state meets to come out and watch it. It's amazing the way they put that together. The trick or treat, as Wade said, is this Thursday. I want to thank everybody that was involved in our Special Abilities Resource Expo that we had this past week at Veterans Park. To me, that gave me a good reminder of why we kind of do what we do. It's not always about tournaments and ball games and things like that. There's things with recreation that we need to remember what the goal is of everything sometimes. And that was a great day. Hundreds of people there getting to see vendors and resources and the businesses that got to come and show their products that people could use. It was a very, very good day. So I want to make sure we thank everybody involved with that. We have a huge weekend in our park, November 6th and 7th after the state cross-country meet. November 6th is the Hendersonville Pig Festival that we've talked about during the day, 10 to 4 at Veterans Park. There's over 30 competitors already signed up for barbecue, over 20 vendors, live pig races, kids zones, live music. That's going to be a huge deal. And then the nighttime event where we kind of do a kind of a VIP sponsor, sell tickets to the public. That's going to be a really good event to raise money for Mary's Magical Place and Christmas for Kids. So if you haven't bought your tickets to that, you can go to pigfesttn.com and follow all the directions. I would encourage you to follow the artist playing at the show or Whiskey Jam to get a discount on tickets. They might have put out codes today for discounts, just saying. Also, November 6th, we have a 60-team softball tournament that will be going on in the park on the 6th and the 7th. Also, on November 7th is the Veterans Day Parade. Also on November 6th on the turf baseball field is the same camp that we had last summer for infielders, for them to high level skills camp for high school and middle school infielders, people coming in from all over the country. So I know Mr. Brown can attest to the hotels being full last weekend. They will continue to be full for the next few weekends. That's kind of my special event report and Mr. Bruce's report. And as far as my report, you want me to keep going? I'm tired of talking, but I will keep going. At our
You're on a
state
roll.
conference, in addition to the rugby, at our state conference, Jeremy was elected by his peers to be the chairman of the state facilities committee. That's a big deal. And well deserved. That's he'll do a good job in that role. Dallas will serve on the state board as the membership chairman, helping to get membership.
Speech.
No, we don't. They don't need to give a speech. I want to thank our office staff. We thank our maintenance staff very deservingly all the time. Sometimes I overlook our office staff. They've really had to pitch in and work together with Andrea being gone and all these events that we have. I want to thank them publicly for kind of keeping the ship from sinking and working together on that. And also I want to let you all know November 4th at 6:30 here in the main meeting room, the Parks Athletic Manual and Handbook was voted and approved on by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen 2 weeks ago. Sorry. There were some changes. I will email those out to you all. So, and then November 4th, we're going to go over those changes with the different leagues here. That would be a good time for you all if you want to ask any questions or anything like that, or if you want to just ask them to me ahead of time. But the Board of Mayor and Aldermen has voted on those, and they will go into effect January 1. And you can go back through the minutes of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen last meeting and read the amendments that were made if you want to. But we'll send it out with it redlined so you'll know what was changed. If anybody has any questions, I'll take them.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Gilly, and Mr. Gilly again. Okay, on the round table, Mr. Perry, Mr. Bowler.
Hang on just a minute here. Tonight seems like a really feel-good night. The Parks Department, park staff has been recognized statewide, and you guys are killing it. Right? You know, Civitans has shown us for a long time what a partnership really looks like, and Mr. Silkwood out here has taken it over the top with what is essentially a new sport for us. And so, you know, facilities by themselves are not enough. You know, the partnership, I'm telling you, I'm feeling good tonight, and I wanted to share that.
I think we should join hands and sing Kumbaya. Mr. Pike? I'm good. Mr. Bennett?
I have just one thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, but over the past couple of weeks, the parking down in between the baseball field and the soccer fields by the restroom area is atrocious. And it's not just because people are just parking wherever the heck they want. I think Dr. Golden can attest to that. So and soccer's almost, you know, we've got about one more month left for it. It might be something to look at and address, maybe to kind of give some kind of clarity for people to park down there. It really isn't defined, and like I said, they're just willy-nilly wherever they want to go.
That's been brought to our attention by another resident who walks down there and who spent probably 20 years with a soccer family. And we're going to try to make some additions over the winter in some areas to keep people out of, especially the areas by the creek where, as you all know, we had a car who thought they were going to park in the creek one day. That was interesting. But yeah, we got that on our radar.
I was actually down there this morning and walked around. Andy and I had talked about it, and I think one of the issues is how dark it is. The building has a few security lights on it, but it's mainly to light the building and about 15 feet off. So we were looking at maybe putting some LED security lights down there to light the area up. And then I think maybe we can put some stobs in, maybe to keep them out of a few areas. But I don't really think there's any way to keep them out of that entire area. But I think that if it was lit, it would make a huge difference. I don't think it'd be so scary when people are leaving. So anyway, that was my take from today, walking down there.
Mr. Golden? Mr. White?
The question, I guess, would be for Dallas. Do we need to get a plug out for gym supervisors? How's the staffing going for that?
Yes, we need gym supervisors. We always need gym supervisors. We lost a couple this week, unfortunately, so we could use 2 to 15 more, so. 615-822-3898. Call me.
There you go. And the other thing is,
To put on that,
Yeah.
it's hard to hire gym supervisors when we're paying them, what, $12 an hour?
Yeah.
And they can go to Taco Bell for 18. And they want to, we're asking them to be in charge of a $50 million school building and kids and parents. So that, hopefully that'd be something we can figure out a way to address in the next couple of years, that pay schedule for those type of seasonal employees, hopefully.
and the only other thing I would say is to back up what Mr. Gillis said about the office staff. I have occasion to deal with the staff from time to time, and Jenny and Kristen, and everybody in there is just pleasant to deal with. And I know you can't be that pleasant all the time, but they seem to pull it off. And I do appreciate them, and Jeremy, as always, the guys down there doing a great job, and they appear to love what they do. That's why they're so successful, and why what we do is easy, because of what the staff and the maintenance crew do. So thank you all, everybody.
Good people. I have trouble with Keith every once in a while, but that's all. No problem. Mr. Ted?
How many booths do we have for Thursday night, Wade?
I think we're at 31.
All right, 31 booths. Come have dinner because the concession stand will be open, I do believe.
That's nice. Mr. Brown, would you like to enlighten us, sir?
I would. I'm like Mr. Bowling. I'm sitting down there feeling pretty good this evening. Everything I've heard enhances the city that I live in and what we do here. The one thing that aggravates me a little bit, and Mr. Gilly touched on it, is that in the past week, they're remodeling my kitchen and my bathroom and building a big wall closet in my bedroom so my wife would have more space for her shoes. I hope she's not watching. But anyway, I thought, well, we'll get a motel room because we had one sink in the whole house that we could use, 2 women and me, and there was no hotel rooms in the vicinity, including Gallatin. I thought, well, I'll call in a favor, so I called some people that I know that own hotels down here, and they said, no, got a bunch of park stuff going on this weekend, can't help you. So I slept in my truck for 3 days. That's really not the truth either, but it's what I'm trying to say is an advertisement like Ken was talking about. Our parks are full, our hotels are full, our restaurants are full. We're making money through our parks and having a good time doing it. Thanks.
I feel enlightened. I want to say, I want to touch on something Andy said about the Special Needs Expo down there. At any one of these events, and I've worked with them several, at any one of these events, if you get a chance to go to these events, these people are special. And I don't mean that in a bad way. These are wonderful, wonderful people. And if people question their place in our society, they need to rethink that, because those are some of the most wonderful people I've ever been around. So I want to thank whoever's idea that was to have the expo. I want to thank that, and I'm certainly glad that it went off well. I'm good. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Pike, second. Mr. White, all in favor say aye. Go Braves. Let's